Natalie Babbitt's Tuck Everlasting. It's one of those books that feels like more than just a story, right? It's a deep dive into some huge questions about what it really means to live, to die, and to make your own choices. So today, we're going to step into the quiet, sleepy town of Tree Gap and uncover the massive secret hidden in its woods. I mean, what an opening line. Right from the very first sentence, Babbitt sets this mood of a world that's just stuck, paused, like that moment on a Ferris wheel where you're just hanging at the very top. That feeling of being motionless is so important, and you've got to hang on to that image of a wheel because it's going to become the biggest idea in the entire book. So, who's at the very center of all this stillness, at the hub of that motionless wheel? Well, that's where we meet our hero, a young girl who feels just as stuck as the summer air around her. Winnie Foster's life is, to put it mildly, suffocating. She lives in this perfect, touch-me-not house where she's watched every second of the day. She doesn't feel like a person. She feels like a piece of property, something her family owns. All she wants is to break out, to make just one choice for herself, to do something that actually matters. And this is where her whole journey kicks off. When she finally runs away into the woods, she swaps her stiff, controlled world for the Tux's cottage, and you couldn't get a more night and day difference. Their home is the total opposite of hers. It's messy, it's lived in, and the whole vibe is just free. It's the very first time Winnie gets a taste of a life that isn't built on a mountain of rules. Okay, so this meeting with the Tux, it's a total game changer. It's what finally gets that wheel of Winnie's life to start turning. And that's because she discovers their secret. A secret that is going to change absolutely everything for her. So here it is, the big secret. 87 years ago, the Tucks drank from a spring in the woods and they just stopped aging. But here's the twist. For them, being immortal isn't this amazing gift. Nope, it's a heavy, heavy burden. They're basically stuck on the sidelines of life, forced to watch the world grow and change without them. And what's so fascinating is how this so-called gift hits each member of the family completely differently. You've got Jesse, who's forever 17. For him, it's one big, endless adventure. But then there's his older brother, Miles. He sees it as an absolute curse, something that cost him his wife and his kids. And May, the mom, well, she's the rock. She just accepts it as their reality, this hard thing they have to face together. There's no easy answer here. So you can see why they have to protect the secret, right? I mean, can you imagine if everyone knew? People would rush to that spring without even thinking about what it really means. The whole world would become paralyzed, stuck, just like them, never growing, never changing. It would be a disaster. But you knew it couldn't last, right? Every good secret has somebody who wants to exploit it. And that someone is on his way to Tree Gap, about to throw a giant wrench into the Tuck's carefully balanced world. Enter our villain, the man in the yellow suit. This guy has been hunting for the secret to eternal life for years. But the book asks us a really interesting question here. Is this guy just pure evil, or is he something more complicated? A man totally driven by greed and ambition? At the end of the day, what he really represents is just pure, unchecked greed. He doesn't see a miracle, he sees dollar signs. He doesn't care about the meaning of it all. He literally wants to bottle up the spring water and sell it to whoever's willing to pay. He's turning a miracle into a business, and he doesn't care who gets hurt. And this guy is sneaky. He happens to overhear the Tucks telling Winnie everything, and he immediately uses her as a pawn in his game. He goes right to her parents and makes a deal. You give me the woods where the spring is, and I'll tell you where your daughter is. It is just cold, calculated blackmail. So, this big confrontation forces everyone to make a choice, especially Winnie. And it's right here, in this moment of crisis, that we see her really begin to grow up. Things get intense fast. The man in the yellow suit tries to drag Winnie away, and May, well, she's not having it. She hits him with a shotgun to stop him. He ends up dying from the injury, and May gets arrested for murder. Now, here's the huge problem. If they try to hang her, she won't die. And then the secret will be out. The stakes are just off the charts. And this is Winnie's turning point. All her life, she dreamed about being free and making her own choices. But her time with the Tucks has taught her something really deep. Being an adult isn't just about freedom to do what you want. It's about accepting responsibility for the consequences of your actions. So what does she do? Something absolutely incredible.
this quiet, timid girl who was once afraid to go in her own front yard. She comes up with a plan with the Tucks to break May out of jail. In the middle of the night, she takes May's place in the cell so the family can escape. It's an unbelievable act of bravery.
Her choice here goes all the way back to that conversation she had with Angus Tuck by the pond. He explained his metaphor for life, that it's like a wheel, always turning, growing, changing. Being alive means being a part of that cycle. But the Tucks, they're not on the wheel anymore. They were, as he puts it, dropped off. They're like rocks on the side of the road, just watching everything go by. Before the Tucks leave, Jesse gives Winnie a bottle of the spring water. He asks her to drink it when she turns 17 so they can be together forever. And this presents Winnie with the ultimate choice, a decision that is going to define the entire rest of her life. But Winnie, she gets it now. She understands the lesson of the wheel. And in this really powerful, quiet moment, she sees a toad being threatened by a dog. And without a second thought, she takes that precious bottle of water, the water promising eternal life with Jesse, and pours it over the toad to protect it. She chooses to give this gift of safety to another creature, fully embracing her own part in the natural world. Many, many years later, the Tucks return to Tree Gap. And there, they find Winnie's gravestone. And it tells her whole story. Dear wife, dear mother, it shows she lived a long, full life. She got married, she had children, and eventually she died. It's proof that she chose a life of meaning, not just a life of endless time. And that's what makes this ending so powerful. It's totally bittersweet. On the one hand, it's heartbreaking to think of Jesse coming back all those years later to find she's gone. But on the other hand, it's beautiful, because Winnie's choice proves how precious a normal mortal life really is. She completed her turn on the wheel. As Angus Tuck stands there in front of her grave, he says just 2 words: good girl. And it's not like he's being condescending. It's this profound sigh of relief, of pride. She understood. She chose to really live, which also means she chose to die. And that, the book seems to be telling us, is the whole point.